It's been all over the headlines, from the Middle Eastern and North African region. Libyans attacking Gaddafi, Egyptians protesting in Tahrir Square, and Yemen on the brink of hell. But what do these uprisings, happening over 4,000 miles away, in a part of the world that many of us have never even heard of, mean for this state, this city, this borough, the Bronx? Join me as I explore what the media has dubbed as the Arab Spring, that is showing no sign of simmering down this summer.
The revolution itself was a welcome news to everybody, because this was organic revolution where people, ordinary citizens, came out to demand their basic rights, God-given rights. Everybody welcomed that.
As we witness the efforts to democratize, President of the Islamic Cultural Center says we must question the motivations of America's actions abroad and mainstream media coverage of the region.
From get-go, the rebels, in a worst-case scenario, were the legitimate representation of the Libyans. You tell me a single country in Europe or a single place in North America where rebels would be deemed as legitimate representation of their government. It doesn't happen. So playing double standard has been a hallmark of the European approach to the Middle Eastern and African situations, and we can no longer tolerate that.
And just because we get a constant stream of updates about the back and forth between the public and the government, political analyst for BronxNet and history professor Dr. Mark Mirowitz still feels there are underreported aspects of the story concerning the actual results of the protests, especially in Egypt, where a military council has replaced Hosni Mubarak.
What has happened is Mubarak was out, so everybody thought, oh, Mubarak's out, now everything's different. But in fact, the military council runs the show, and they've been, running, and they're the same generals. I mean, I don't think that's been well reported.
Professor Krista Salamandra says it's not just about the daily stream of news updates.
I think it's our chance to totally debunk the notion that there is something essentially violent about the Arab character. And these things are all nonsense, but they do inform a lot of media coverage, both in the Arab world itself and here.
The uprisings give us a chance to discard the stigma concerning terrorism and violence, and are a glimpse of hope that democracy can be embraced.
Reestablishes the importance of street demonstrations, sit-ins, peaceful protests, which is, I think, the vast majority of what's going on can be characterized as.
Most say it's too early to determine the fate of North African and Middle Eastern regimes. Many people hope to see a more peaceful and representative government in the future, but not everyone agrees.
I think there are countries within the region that seem to be making a pretty clear, at least the people of the countries, seem to be making a pretty clear statement that they want a different kind of government and a different kind of rule. Whether that results in the entire region democratizing, I'm not sure that that's true. Northern Africa and the Middle East are different places, and the leadership has a different situation in each of the countries.
I think there will be probably some opportunities for people to experience new freedoms, to become more in control of their own destinies, but some of those governments are very entrenched, have been there a long time, and they're not going to give up their power overnight.
Perhaps there's something innate in us, in American values, that we wait and hope for freedom across the Atlantic. Dr. Mirowitz thinks there is.
This means a lot to Americans. Americans care about freedom. They care about democracy. And we care about the people in Egypt and Tunisia and Yemen. We care about them. We want them to be free. We want them to express themselves. Of course, that's the American idea. That's always been the American idea.
Whatever the outcome in the Middle East or North Africa, democracy or not, the uprisings are affecting members of the Bronx community and changing our own perceptions of what it means to have a say in one's government. This has been Asthaa Chaturvedi reporting for BronxNet.